Your Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu, the President of the Greater Regional House of Chiefs, King Professor Efie Nsem, the representatives of the President of the Ghana Council, members of the Police Council, retired Inspectors General of Police, Deputy Interior Minister, Honorable Ebenezer Okete Abi, the Chief Director at the Ministry of Interior, Mrs. Doreen Annan, Director of Operations at the Presidency, COP Mr. Kofi Boachi retired, the Technical Advisor to the Minister of Interior, Mrs. Mamiya Adodankwa, members of the Police Management Board, Nananom, Nime, Name, senior officers and men, the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with profound honor, humility, and great national pride that we welcome His Majesty, the Asantehene, and his entourage to the Ghana Police Headquarters today. Words alone cannot fully express the joy and privilege we feel in witnessing and hosting the great Asante Kingdom on this historic visit. This gesture is not only symbolic, it is unprecedented, a moment that will be engraved permanently in the institutional memory of the Ghana Police Service and indeed in the annals of our nation's security architecture. Your Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering invites us to revisit history. Long before the advent of modern European-style policing, African societies, particularly the Asante Kingdom, had well-established systems of law, order, and justice. The Efie policing system, administered through the Ashanti courts, was one of the earliest forms of organized policing in this land. These traditional mechanisms ensure social order, dispute resolution, and community safety through customs deeply understood and respected by the people. With the introduction of colonial policing, these indigenous systems were not erased, but rather blended into emerging state structures. The fusion of traditional authority with modern policing concepts helped shape the policing we know in Ghana today. Your Majesty, Nime, Name, ladies and gentlemen, as the revered occupant of the Golden Stool, you have not only preserved these values, but also modernized and strengthened them. Your consistent support for the Ghana Police Service, especially in the Ashanti region, has been both fatherly and exemplary. I recall that you have hosted several Inspectors General of Police and police leadership over the years, offering counsel, guidance, and encouragement, with doors always open to us. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Chief Constable of this country, I must commend Your Majesty and highlight your role in peace building and conflict resolution, which has had a profound impact on national security. Mentioning your exceptional mediation skills, which have restored peace in numerous conflicts across our nation, compels me to describe you as the King Solomon of our time. Your wisdom, patience, and moral authority have brought calm where tension once prevailed, and unity where division once threatened our peace. Specifically, you chair the Committee of Eminent Chiefs that successfully resolved the long-standing Dagbon chieftaincy crisis, restoring peace and stability to the area. Your mediation efforts in Yendi, and more recently in the protracted Boku conflict, to mention a few, have yielded practical recommendations that continue to guide security operations. Today, the relative calm in Boku has significantly enhanced policing efforts and community confidence. It is worth noting that chiefs, as custodians of land, culture, and customs, remain indispensable partners in maintaining law and order. In this regard, Your Majesty, you have personally intervened in numerous land and chieftaincy disputes in the Ashanti region, restoring sanity, reducing violence, and making policing more effective. These actions reaffirm the constitutional recognition of chieftaincy under the 1992 Constitution, which recognizes traditional authority as an integral part of Ghana's governance system. In the context of illegal mining, your directive urging chiefs to take firm action against it in their jurisdictions demonstrate the continued relevance of traditional leadership in addressing modern security challenges, and this is emulating. Your Royal Majesty, beyond peace and security, your contribution to national development is monumental. Through your humanitarian support to the helpless through the Otumfuo Education Fund, thousands of vulnerable but brilliant students across Ghana have received opportunities to pursue education. As Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Your Majesty continues to bridge tradition and academia, ensuring that cultural heritage coexists with innovation and research. In the area of culture, diaspora relations, and global influences, you are a global symbol of African culture. Through cultural preservation, initiatives such as the Menchia Palace Museum and your engagement with the African diaspora, you have projected Ashanti and the Ghanaian culture far beyond our borders. These efforts have strengthened diaspora relations, enhanced Ghana's international profile, promoted tourism, and positioned our tradition as subjects of global academic and cultural study. Your Majesty, your presence at the police headquarters today marks a turning point. This historic honor is one that the Ghana Police Service and our fellow citizens hold in the highest esteem and do not take it lightly. The Ghana Police Service recognizes that over time, we have relied excessively on imported European policing systems. This visit challenges us to return to history, re-embrace indigenous knowledge systems, and strengthen community and tradition-based policing. Let me say that your visit today will deepen cooperation between the Ghana Police Service and the traditional authorities across the country, not only within the Ashanti Kingdom, but nationwide. Your address today will serve as a blueprint and working document for strengthening relations between law enforcement and traditional governance. Moving forward, the police service will study and integrate traditional culture, customs, and local governance systems into our training, orientation, and reorientation programs. This will help the average police officer better understand the socio-cultural dynamics of the communities we serve and police more effectively with empathy, respect, and legitimacy. Your Majesty, your visit is a great honor to every man and woman in the Ghana Police Service. It will leave a lasting legacy, not only in brick and mortar, but in mindset, policy, and practice. We reaffirm our commitment to upholding state laws while respecting customary laws, and to build a security system that reflects the history, culture, and aspirations of Ghanaian people. May this historic visit mark the beginning of a deeper, enduring partnership between the Ghana Police Service and the Transitional Authority for Peace, Development, and National Unity. Once again, we thank you, Your Majesty, for this royal visit and the honor done us. God bless the Ashanti Kingdom. God bless our traditional authorities. God bless the Ghana Police Service. And God bless our beloved country, Ghana. Thank you very much.
Hello. Thank you very much, Inspector General of Police, Mr. Christian Teteyohunu, for the welcome remarks. We will now invite the police band to give us a musical interlude. Thank you. Majority of them cannot.
What do you want? You want a microphone? Okay.
Thank you very much, police band. With all humility, may I invite His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asantehene, to give his address. A round of applause, please.
Kasangen.
Wasajifuo Gunyagwasio, Krasantinadwe, Kasangen.
Kotokwanyine Kase, Krabiane Kasangen.
Otokwanyine Kase, Krabiane, Kasangen.
Mema Krobia, Irifiangomane Kotokungen.
Mema Krobia, Irifiangomane Kotokungen.
Asante Chantrochmo, Champon Fungen.
Asante Chantrochmo, Champon Fungen.
Asante Sebo, Sumanditin.
Asante Sebo, Sumanditin.
Krobia Santinadwe Kasangen.
Krobia Santinadwe, Kasangen.
Sechiche Modi Miavisio.
Sechiche Modi Miavisio.
Why Nebenya Sajuso, Supani, Yabakumasi Capobano.
Why Nebenya Sajuso, Supani, Yabakumasi Capobano.
Pinya Sabianco, baby.
Obinya Sabianco, baby.
I'm not ready for them, Efie Kasangen.
I'm not ready for them, Efie Kasangen.
The one in Tofumojo,
Chewan and Tofumojo,
out of Frodadiochmo, Champon Fungen.
What of Frodadiochmo, Champon Fungen.
Oh, Sony Croyos, Manditin.
Oh, Sony Croyos, Manditin.
Jaqua Jalena, Dia Dingen.
Ajaqua Jarena, Dia Sedungen.
Acquisibio Cumlochmo, Champon Fungen.
Acquisibio Cumlochmo, Champon Fungen.
Jaqua Frisa, Frampo, Damli Ferris.
Ajaqua Frisa, Frampo, Damli Ferris.
Set to turn Modi, Miavisio.
Set to turn Modi, Miavisio.
One Namusuma and Cabom and Punton in Kosoba or Santiman Ghana Manina.
One and Namusuma and Cabom Punton in Kosonia, Sandreba, Ghana, Santimanina.
Obinya Sabianco, baby.
Obinya Sabianco, baby.
Blagua Bacana, ne, Frampo, Damli Ferris.
Blagua Bacana, ne, Frampo, Damli Ferris.
Emma Davido da Quayadungen.
Nema Davindo da Koyadungen.
Yadam Nania de Yakubo, Jota, Touchmo, Champon Fringen.
Yadam Nania de Yakubo, Jota, Touchmo, Champon Fringen.
Oh, Tosika Samana Jakungen.
Oh, Tosika Samana Jakungen.
Jacuba Bank on your flower.
Jacuba Bank on your flower.
Sajifo Frampo, Damifao.
Sajifo Frampo, Damifao.
Set to turn more than Yavisio.
Set to turn more than Yavisio.
Sajifo Gunyagua singing.
Sajifo Gunyagua singing.
Okra Santina Kasangen.
Okra Santina Kasangen. Woku better to cover the Mefa Gunyagua Sajumna Chamera.
Yeah, one way Daniel. One better, but you want more jump on the
The Inspector General of Police, Dr. Christian Tete Yohono, the President of the Regional House of Chiefs of Greater Accra, my dear brother, senior officers and men and women of the Ghana Police Service here assembled, traditional rulers here assembled, distinguished guests, fellow citizens of our beloved republic. Manshia has been pleased to enjoy a productive working relationship with the Ghana Police Service over the years. But this is the first time we have had the opportunity of visiting what I will call the engine room or the heartbeat of the service, thanks to the initiative. Thanks to the initiative and kind invitation of our son, the Inspector General of Police. We are deeply humbled by the extraordinary courtesies extended to us this morning. Watching the ladies parade, I thought I should have worn my police dress to be here. Our plea of the IGP to give me a police dress so next time when I come, I can be a policeman. But this honor is not intended to me alone, but duly shared with the entire community of traditional rulers who are the guardians of culture. I'm pleased to be joined by NI President and other traditional council members. I hope they share this honor with all of us. It is truly inspiring to survey the amazing lineup of the top brass who not only make up the entire command of the Ghana Police Service, but represent over a century of dedicated and exceptional service to the nation.
Job.
And whilst I was walking in, I saw former IGPs that I've dealt with. And I'm glad that they are here today.
Job.
Interestingly, as far back as getting to 27 years, my first police ADC, I saw him now, husband rating, he's now Nana from Bonketia. He was my first ADC who was looking after me.
Job.
26 years ago. I don't know what rank he has now, but he was my ADC at Meshia at that time.
Job.
This is not a routine or a mere ceremonial visit. It is intended to be a landmark event, marking a moment in history where two ancient responsibilities meet to begin a momentous conversation.
Job.
The guardianship of values and the enforcement of law. One institution draws its authority from ancestral memory. The other draws its mandate from the Constitution. Yet both exist for one sacred task, the preservation of order, dignity, and peace in society.
Job.
Before we proceed upon the historic journey, let me, in the spirit of the new year, convey a message of glad tidings to the gallant men and women who make up the Ghana Police Service.
Job.
We come with abiding gratitude to each member of the service, from the lowest constable to the top leadership gathered here today,
Job.
for your selfless sacrifices to keep us safe over the years. And we bring you hope for progress and prosperity in the years to come.
Job.
The Ghana Police Service is one of the institutional legacies bequeathed to us by our former colonial rulers. From the first Ghanaian who took over the mantle of leadership from the departing colonial commander, the highly distinguished Erasmus Ransford Tewia Majite, to the energetic leadership assembled here
Job.
today, the police service has gone through many challenging epochs. Changing political circumstances have impacted on the service in different ways. But it is fair to say that through it all, the service has maintained a level of commitment and professionalism we should be proud of.
Job.
Whenever and wherever you have been called upon to undertake international duties, you have acquitted yourselves with full credit.
Job.
The greatest pride of Ghanaians today is that our nation is recognized in the world as an oasis of peace in an environment of turbulence.
Job.
The international community widely acclaims us for the safety in our streets. If we take pride in our climate of peace and accept the plaudits of the world for the safety in our streets, we cannot fail to acknowledge the crucial role of the frontline protectors of our peace and security.
Job.
When we snuggle in our comfortable beds at night, we cannot forget that there are thousands of our sons and daughters battling with mosquitoes while dutifully protecting us from the snares of criminal minds.
Job.
And while we trudge along our motorways, whether in our shining limousines or the humble trotro or aboboya and praja, we cannot forget that there are again thousands of our sons and daughters keeping guard in the most inhospitable spots just to make sure we arrive safely at our destinations.
Job.
The truth is not in us if we fail to acknowledge that we owe a huge debt of gratitude to the blue uniform for the safety we cherish.
Job.
So today we say our equal to the police for faithful service to the nation. I equal for your selfless sacrifices in the most difficult terrains. I equal for the safety in our streets. And I equal for selflessly standing guard while we sleep.
Job.
As I have already mentioned, the Ghana Police Service is one of the legacies of our colonial
Job.
past. But long before the first police uniform was sewn, communities had learned how to live together. Before courts were built, disputes were settled. Before statutes were written, wrong was already understood.
Job.
Custom was the first law. Culture was the first constitution. It taught restraint before punishment, responsibility before rights, and harmony before victory. It reminded people that their actions did not end with themselves, that every deed echoed through family, lineage, and memory. In those days, a child feared disappointing an elder more than facing authority. A man thought twice before wrongdoing, not because of arrest, but because shame will outlive him. Conduct was shaped long before crime could take root. That is the quiet power of culture. When culture is strong, crime struggles to breathe. When culture collapses, law enforcement is forced to compensate. No number of officers, no matter how disciplined, no matter how well equipped, can replace a society that has lost its moral compass. Law enforcement functions best where people already believe that order is worth protecting. This is why we have been pleased to join hands with Dr. Yuno, the Inspector General of Police, to initiate this conversation. It has been most useful at this point in time to engage with an IGP steeped in history and culture and able to appreciate the essential interplay between the two. He is aware of the extent to which the colonial authorities relied on traditional authorities for the maintenance of law and order. Indeed, you know that the British were content to make domestic law and order a joint function between law enforcement and traditional rulers. When the Asante Nation became part of the new nation state of the Gold Coast, the Asante was allowed to keep and maintain his own police. Ahimfie police had all the authority of the colonial police well into the onset of independence. Along the original Gold Coast colony, one of the most eminent chiefs was Nene Azuma Tekole, the corner of Menyakrobo, who in his life played a key role in the preservation of law and order. It is no wonder that Kroboland gave us the first Ghanaian head of the police, the eminent Teria Majesty, who was to go on to serve as leader of opposition in parliament. And it is no surprise that the seed of the past continues to flower in our incumbent RGP. The lessons of history suggest that we can build a safer, more peaceful society by conscious effort to bring the guardians of culture and the protectors of law ever closer together to create an interlocking mechanism based on the cardinal principle that culture cannot do without the police and the police cannot succeed without culture. Culture without law becomes nostalgia. Beautiful stories with no teeth. Law without culture becomes false, effective but brittle. One shapes the heart, the other restrains the hand. A society that restrains only the hand while neglecting the heart merely postpones disorder. As the king and embodiment of one of Africa's great enduring cultures, I've seen culture at its finest, and I have also seen it at its worst. I've opened up the deliberations of Asanteman and our traditional councils to the global media so the world can see how genuine customs resolves disputes peacefully, preserving relationships and dignity. I've also seen how distorted tradition may be used to justify violence and impunity. What we have seen and done reinforces my belief that when authority, traditional or otherwise, employs disorder as a tool, it has abandoned legitimacy. Custom was never designed to protect criminals. It was designed to prevent crime. Every culture in Ghana provides a formula for resolving disputes, and it is only when our fidelity to cultural values fail that disorder takes over. True tradition aligns with justice. It does not compete with it. This is why the role of the Ghana Police Service is indispensable. I recall that Christian only recently assumed the position of Inspector General of Police under a cloud at a time when public expectations of the police were high and patience was thin. Within this short period, the impact of leadership has been felt, and we see a style reflecting the essential element in law enforcement: calm authority anchored in professionalism. The greatest victory of law enforcement is prevention. And prevention begins long before police sirens sound. It begins in homes, and it begins in homes where discipline is taught, in communities where elders are respected, in cultures where wrongdoing is socially discouraged before it becomes legally punishable. This is where culture performs its most important work. In a society where values are strong, the police officer is not viewed as an adversary, but as a partner. The uniform commands respect not because it carries force, but because it represents shared principles. Now imagine a society where values have collapsed. In such a place, the police officer becomes a symbol of oppression. The law becomes an external imposition, and crime becomes defiance masquerading as freedom. The difference between the two societies is not the number of laws on the books, it is the presence or absence of culture. It should be obvious to us, therefore, that the alignment of cultural values with the values of law should be the first step towards crime prevention. Our visit today sets us up on a journey towards crystallizing the alignment of values and sends a powerful national message. The tradition and modern law enforcement are not rivals struggling for relevance. They are collaborators safeguarding the same future. When traditional authority respects legal authority, communities stabilize. When police respect local customs, cooperation deepens. When both communicate openly, crime loses its hiding place. If law alone can save society, then countries with the thickest law books will have no problems, no prisons at all. Yet even prisons have rules and still require values. The truth is simple, even if uncomfortable. No society can outsource morality entirely to the state and expect peace. Together, we must raise citizens, not just enforce laws. Therefore, I have come to join you to call together for deeper institutionalized collaboration between traditional authorities and the Ghana Police Service. Let chiefs serve as allies in community policing. Let officers be trained to understand the customs of the people they protect. Let dialogue precede deployment and mediation precede confrontation. This is not softness, it is intelligence. The future of public order lies not in louder sirens, but in stronger values, supported by competent, disciplined law enforcement. We hope the conversation we begin today will culminate in some institutional arrangement which should guarantee effective and respectful collaboration. You will no doubt be aware that among the guardians of traditions, we are fortunate to have eminent men like my own brother, Togwe Sri, the Efie Nsem, who before his entombment was one of the highest ranking police officers, and he even served in Ashanti. You can have every assurance about the presence of a vast community of guardians of culture, ready to connect with you for a new era in nation building. We have conveyed our message of hope and progress to the Ghana Police Service. We have assured you of our gratitude for your faithful service and selfless sacrifices for our protection and safety. But we cannot conclude without acknowledging persistent public disquiet about lapses that undermine discipline and engender mistrust. We have to admit, however, attractive the arguments may be, there's going to be more than a mountain to climb if we ignore public concerns about police values. I have always believed that the discipline and the values instilled during training by the police and military shapes one for a lifetime. No one who goes through the training is ever in doubt about what the uniform represents and the values they profess to uphold when they bear the coat of arms. So it is puzzling, to say the least, when Ghanaians see men in uniform act publicly in a manner which evidently compromises the integrity of the service. They provide an escape route to doubters who will argue that if the men of the disciplined service cannot maintain their values, how can they expect civil society to be able to do so? As we embark on this journey together, we will urge you, IGP, and your devoted colleagues to seriously tackle issues affecting police integrity and public trust. It may well be necessary to reinforce or upscale the values you include in your men, so they are left in no doubt. Whatever they do which compromises the integrity of the police also dishonor the uniform and the coat of arms they bear. I also hope that you work towards making the service politically neutral. There will always be one government responsible for the state of Ghana, and as the police service of the state, you are sworn to be unalloyed in your loyalty to the government. But there must be a line drawn between the government and a political party, and I believe both government and the service will find it in their common interest for the police to be manifestly pursuing law enforcement with bias towards none, but without fear or favor, affection or ill will. When I survey the galaxy of agile men and women assembled before me today, I'm filled with confidence that you are up to any challenge that the year may throw up. And I encourage you to stick together in continued dedication to the upliftment of the service. To you, Dr. Christian Tetenyoro, the IGP, I commend your leadership and encourage you to continue steering the service with firmness, fairness, and foresight. The work you have begun will outlive your tenure if anchored in values. Custodians of tradition, Nime, let us preserve our customs not as relics of nostalgia, but as living systems that cultivate discipline, peace, and justice. And to every citizen, remember that the destiny of this nation is shaped not only by laws passed in Parliament, but by conduct practiced in homes. When culture stands upright, crime bends low. When culture walks with law, society walks in peace. May the year 2026 bring all of us peace, charity, joy, and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, for your address. Thank you very much. At this point, the next item on the group photograph, I will call on our protocol department to take responsibility of the group photograph. Thank you very much. We've come to the end of this afternoon's program. The second part will also take place soon. Thank you. All personnel, please remain seated. You will be served here. Remain seated as our dignitaries will take leave of us. Please, our friends from the media, please don't leave us. Be with us until further instructions. Our friends from the media.